Okay, there we go.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Hello, Firebox R50-4, here's respond to 1, Charlie 1. Engine 5, engine 55, engine 33. Truck 1, truck 49, medic 22, respond. Newgate Avenue, Newport Street, Hamilton Green for the building fire. Welcome, everybody, to the Firehouse Country Show with your DJ, Bobby B. This morning, we got a special guest, a guy that I consider a great individual, but a great friend also, Mr. Joel Hunt, aka the H Train from the H Train Show. How you doing, Joel?
How are you? Thank you for having me. I hope I don't blow your homework assignment. So
No, not at all, man. Anyways, just wanted to get together with you and do a little interview for you and get some of your background. And because honestly, I'm 51 years old. I'm not sure how old you are. We won't go there, people with their ages and stuff. But, anyways, I look up to you. You do a lot of great things for the veterans. And just as far as I know, I mean, just your friends also. I mean, your story is incredible. I follow you on TikTok, and I'm telling you, I spent about an hour and a half on your TikToks. I cried with you, I laughed with you, and I admire that, man, for real. And but anyways, just tell us a little bit about your military career and how many, your deployment, what happened, and we'll go from there, buddy.
well, I don't really talk a whole lot about my military career because I have been blown up so many times. I don't really remember a whole lot. It's weird how you can go through life and you can, let's say, like a relationship. Let's say you go through life in a relationship and you remember all the bad things, but you don't remember all the good things, and that's kind of how it is with me in Iraq. There's some bad things that I do remember, but there's some good things that I don't remember as well. But um, I was in the military from '98, and I retired in 2007. I went to three deployments. On the third deployment, while I was in Fort Carson, part of Fourth ID, um, you know, I guess that was it's hard to pinpoint which explosion it was. Everybody wants to
Right.
pinpoint it. Your live day. I have no real clue because with the TBI, TBIs are it just it it takes effect after a one. So if you have like a concussion or whatever, each concussion it get worse, and
Right.
that's kind of how the traumatic brain injury went. And with my traumatic brain injury, my brain uh, quit activating my legs. So from the knee down, I can't move and I can't feel it. And I was in a wheelchair for about 2 years, but the wheelchair it wasn't really because of the leg issue. It was more of the TBI issue where I have blackouts and I have dizzy spells. And I can tell you that if you're a veteran and you use the medicine, I believe it's Selextra.
Right.
It's gonna give you quakes. It's gonna give you like earth shake. Um, I don't know the word that I'm searching for. I can't think.
Like tremors.
Yeah, that's the medicine. So that's the number one thing. The number two thing is, when I got back from Iraq and I was in a wheelchair and I was out of the service, I can tell you that the biggest teacher of all and the biggest thing that I've faced is swallowing up my pride and asking for help. For like the longest time, I didn't want to, but my parents, when they both were still alive, they retired out of New Mexico and they dropped everything and they came to me because the VA, because my ex-wife was out of the picture, and the VA's like, this this guy is out of control. He's got dishes loading up. He's got laundry loading up. If you can't find somebody to help you, uh, we're gonna need to send you to a VA nursing home, kind of like the Fisher House or something. And my mom
Right.
and dad were like, "No, no, no, we're not gonna do that." And I can tell you that I learned the hard way that water aerobics is not a way to pick up on shit.
All right. Yeah, and I also, coming from those injuries and everything, and this is what really inspired me. And I mean, it should inspire a lot of people. If you're down on your luck, I mean, if you have injuries or whatnot, you get overcome them. You were an Olympic medal winner for the Paralympics. How did you go from the injuries to the U.S. Paralympics, and what motivated you the most to get to, was it, I believe, Russia?
Yeah, I wasn't a medal winner. I just when I was in the Olympics, I ended it by I ended up being 24th in the world in giant slalom. And my my main mission, my main goal, it wasn't the Paralympics, believe it or not. In fact, what happened is I went to a TBI camp that my parents forced me to go to. I really think that they wanted to get it on in my house, and that's the reason why they forced me to go to the TBI camp. Well, I went to the TBI camp and I learned how to ski. And on the third day, they told me that I was carving, and I was doing really, really well, And the guy that was teaching me how to ski, it just so happened that he used to be a race skier for St. Olaf team in Minnesota. And I looked at him after we, had our lesson, and I went from greens to blues in pretty much one day. And I asked him, I'm like, do you think with the right training and education, I could be a racer like you? He looked at me and he was like, "Oh no, you're too old." You know, given at the time, I mean, when we're talking about old, we're talking about maybe I was like 29 or 30. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't really that old. All right. So when he told me that, it it got me it got me pissed. It got me it started to boil my blood. Like literally, like I wouldn't have been racing if he didn't say anything because he pissed me off that much. The reason why I was doing the race, doing the skiing, is because I found something for the first time that I didn't have to ask for help. I didn't have to swallow my pride and ask, "Hey, can you help me out?" I finally found something that I felt free as a bird when I'm flying down that mountain. Like nobody can touch me for the first time in 2.5 years. And as I'm going down there, you know, I didn't join these learn to race camps because I wanted to learn to race. The reason why I joined them was because from leaving Denver to Winter Park, it's one of the snow resorts here in Colorado. It's about an hour and a half. Now think about that. If you're driving here and in the morning like 5:30 to get there by 7:30 so that you can get on the lift. I mean, I had a 2000 and I believe it was 2009 Chevy Colorado, and within 6 months I had already raked up 84,000 miles on that
Holy crap.
vehicle because I was going from point A to point B. and I at that point I didn't really understand the whole mileage car thing like I do
Yeah.
now.
The gas prices wasn't so much.
The gas prices wasn't so much, and I finally found a way to like stay there at the ski resort. They had all these camps. So I'm like, well, I'm not dumb. Hey, if you're gonna give me 2 weeks at Copper and the scholarship or whatever is gonna take care of my hotel, well hell yeah, I'll stay there and I'll play this game. I'll learn how to race because in the long run I was actually skiing. I was actually having fun. I was actually going around, exploring, practicing my curves because it's something that I was good at. It was something that I
Right.
knew how to do. And a lot of people, let's just say, they decide that they want to play a guitar. Okay,
Right.
so they buy a guitar and they put it in the practice. Within 3 days, if you can't even sing a song, or if you can't even play a song on a guitar, eventually, if you can't do it within like after a year or 2 years, you're like, okay, screw this. I'm not very good at this.
Right.
You don't keep on keeping on at something that you don't feel that you're successful at. As long
Exactly.
as you went golfing with me, okay? Same thing, right? So, but I found something and I found a trick that if I went to all these learn to ski camps, I have room and board while I ski. Well, 3 years, flashback. And remember I was telling you that this is the crappiest thing that I learned the hard way, and it's so true, all right? When you're starting out, you need a lot of help. You need a lot of financial help,
Right.
when you're starting out. But when you're really good at your job, when you're really good at it, and you don't need help, guess what? That's when they want to help you, is when you're really good. You're like, whoa, 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 I don't need your help now.
Right.
I don't need your help. But see, that's when they want to help you because people just they don't want to put stock in a losing football team.
Right. Right. Which
And
is wrong, but
but that's how life is.
right.
So, I had the opportunity, and when I remember how I was told that I was going to Sochi, I remember breaking down and tears and crying because when my mother died from pancreatic cancer, and I went through her will, I found a checkbook that said Russia on it. She had more confidence in me making the team and going to Russia than I did.
Wow. And that's a push right there for you.
Yeah, that was well because after my mom died, I was thinking just giving up, and then my friend John is like, "Nah, man, you need to do this for your mother."
Right.
So when I went to Sochi, I was doing that. I was doing that race for my mother, and Sochi it was kind of hard because unless you're really skilled and you know your lines and you know how you're going to get on edge. There's a diagram of how you race depending on like red, yellow, and green lines.
Okay.
And when I was going through Russia, like that snow, you have no idea how soft it was. The funny thing about with snow is if you take salt pellets, grind them
Mhm.
up, and you put them on snow, it's a science. It's like 4 or 5 bags for each square inch. It stiffens the snow, so it's like ice. But that salt it only works for like 8 minutes,
Oh wow.
and that's what I was dealing with when I went to Sochi. It wasn't just the race; it was the style of the snow that we were racing on because it,
Different.
it was melting bad, man. It was melting bad. You should never be on the ski. You should never be on a ski hill, and your head is sweating from how hot it is. Okay, that's how Sochi was. It should not be like that.
Right. All right. We're going to take a short break real quick. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about MB Radio and what all you do for the veterans and what all MBR offers to the veterans. So we'll be right back. This is the Firehouse Country Show with your DJ Bobby B and special guest H Train himself. All right. That was a short break, but we are back now. And again, this is the Firehouse Country Show with your DJ Bobby B and Mr. H Train's our special guest. All right. As you all know, my show is part of MB Radio, and you can catch that on mbradio.us or the app, MB Radio app. But anyways, Joel, how did you decide to start MB Radio for veterans and a nonprofit organization? What brought you to getting involved with that and taking it over?
All right, well, so Military Brotherhood Radio is the original radio station, and Jim Butler made that in 2003. He had made that in 2003. I met him in 2015, 2016, and just like your show, I was on MBR for like the longest time, and then one day in February, he calls me up and he's like, "Well, that's it." He's like, "I'm retiring," and I'm like, "Oh."
Great.
He's like, "So I'm going to give you the station. You can either keep it going or you can close it down." He's like, "I got a new life. I'm retiring. I'm done." So I'm like, "Okay, well, if we do that, then the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the logo because I would, in the long run, I want to be the founder." So I created a nonprofit in 2008 called Military Broadcast Radio, and the biggest thing for it, okay, that always will be there, is it will always be a platform that veterans can utilize. That can utilize, like a podcast, they can get their show out, all that. And they don't have to worry about like paying royalties. They don't have to worry about, paying app fees or server fees or anything like that because it's already taken care of. Just like Jim did for God knows how long. Okay.
Right.
Um, a lot of people are more led to donate and help a nonprofit rather than helping an organization that makes money. Nobody gets paid at MBR. Nobody. I don't take any money off of MBR. Hell, there's things that we needed for MBR, and it's came out of my billfold instead of the nonprofit money. And I would say probably around 2020, 2019, when we moved in with and partnered up with Colorado Media School. We have a studio. So since we have a studio, we we have gear in the studio. We have like a mixer. We have everything that you need. And I'm like thinking, okay, well, we already have the studio and we already have gear and we already have veterans coming in and stuff, and if we get extra money, there's not a nonprofit out there that does DJ gear. So I'm like,
Right.
okay, let's change that. So MBR became the first one to do that. So now, as long I need to key that and let everybody know, as long as there's funds in the bank account, then if you're a DJ and you provide consistent shows, consistent feedback, you're active in MBR, then we're going to supply you the mixer, the mic, the SAMS program, all that stuff when you've been connected for us for more than 8 months. Now, unfortunately, we can't do that for everybody. So what we had to do is we had to tag and we say, if you're a veteran. So basically, if you're a veteran, you'll get anything and everything that you want from MBR. And then what we've done, because we're like, well, it's kind of unfair if we just do that for veterans and we don't do that for for we call it civilians. So what we did is we've told our civilians, hey, look, if you do like remotes, you keep doing your shows, stuff like that, then we'll give like MBR bucks or whatever. And then, as time continues, sooner or later, you can like do remotes, you can do special things a part of MBR to reach that goal of getting gear for a civilian. But unfortunately, they have to do a little bit more work than veterans do.
Okay, it makes sense. And what are some of the different fund drives and fundraisers you do to help veterans? I know there's one coming up, Tea for the Troops or something.
Yep. So we have a like a fundraiser because whenever we do these like sponsor remotes, I don't expect a whole lot of money because I've expected in the past and then I let down, and then when you're let down, then the people that coordinated the event, they feel like they let you down. So it's just better to go in an event saying, okay, we're not going to get any money, but at least we're going to get the visibility and the name out there so that people know, you know, what we're offering, that we're trying to help. I don't want to just be an internet radio station that plays podcasts all day. I want to enrich and help veterans. So I lost my train of thought.
We
That
were
happens,
talking,
that happens a lot for TVIs.
right? Yeah, we were talking about like the fundraisers
Yeah, that's
and
right. So September 25th, we have one in Missouri. And then we've got a remote in October 18th here in Colorado. So those are two of the recent remotes that we got coming up. And we've recently like talked in boards and stuff. And now, if you're a DJ and you basically go across the state line to do a remote or something, um, we're gonna call it kind of like a combat patch, but we're gonna issue it for, you know we say, okay, this we're gonna make this badge, and this badge is for this remote, and like once you get that badge, that's great because you can never get that badge ever again. And then once you get that badge, like if you do more events there, then you'll get pins. So we're trying to we're trying to work up a point system to get everybody excited about being DJs and going and doing remotes, because Even though I hate remotes, let me make sure we know that I'm very clear. I hate remotes because there's 90% work ethic in it, and you'll probably get maybe a 10% gain. All right, that's just how it is. So I
Right.
hate remotes, but remotes should be special for individual DJs because you're going across state, you're broadcasting in another state, so it's kind of fun, you know.
Right.
If you went on if you went on vacation and you got on Facebook, how fun is it to say broadcasted from the Hawaii Islands here in Maui? I mean,
Right.
that's like kind of thing, you know. So that's kind of what I want to bring to DJs is some like encouragement, something to like really just
Get
get
it, Adam.
the passion, you know.
Right, exactly. We'll have to get you down here to Ohio.
Ah,
No, come on now.
well, we'll see. The only thing that's in Ohio is the Browns.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ah,
That's a whole different story, I guess. Um, but anyways, and lastly, I'm going to offer you 2 minutes to shine, if that sounds familiar.
ah.
For something that I did not cover, or something I didn't ask, something that you want to put out there a little bit, cover a little bit more than I did or that we did in the show.
I haven't said this before, but I think it's important to say it. Um, I everybody's different. Everybody has different attitudes. Everybody has different quirkiness. There's some people that don't like me. I have a with my traumatic brain injury, my most the thing that gets me every time with the TBI is I'll like read something or I'll comprehend something or like an innocent thing like you're standing right next to me and you have a bag full of groceries. Sometimes in my brain it doesn't click to open the door because your hands are full. Just brain fart things that I don't think about, which I think
Right.
everybody has that. You go on the road and there's this like driveway or whatever. Majority of people block it instead of leaving an opening. So it's just I'm not very good at uh, uh, advanced working techniques and stuff.
Right.
That being said, I think it's important that, and this is for anybody and everybody, um, just because you don't like me or my attitude, like I want everybody to know that I'm completely separate from MBR. Like MBR is here. It's not mine. Like I can leave today and MBR will can sustainably last for the future because of the people that's in place. So I have to tell anybody and everybody that you know if you want to DJ for MBR or you know you want to be involved but you just don't like me, that's okay. You can totally be able to ignore me and do MBR. You know,
Right.
I want people to quit thinking that me and MBR are connected. I if you uh I'm trying to think of a way to say it, but just know that when it comes to NBR, if you're ever attacking me to get to NBR, that's not gonna happen. If you're mad at me, attack me. Don't attack the group because um, NBR isn't mine. It's ours. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say.
Right. And who wouldn't like Mr. H Train?
There's a lot of me.
Like I said, man, I believe it is an honor. If people don't know, I'm doing my internship. I'm at Ohio Media School in Cleveland, and Mr. Joel Hunt offered me the opportunity. I got in touch with him through our school, and he offered me the opportunity to um, help on the show and eventually get my own show on MB Radio, and I did. And I told him, I'm like, if unless you get rid of me, you're stuck with me because I I feel it's an honor to work on a station like this that offers things to veterans. Am I a veteran myself? No, I am not. I am a firefighting veteran. I was a firefighter for many years, but just to be able to play maybe one song on my show, on my live radio show, and it could help a veteran get his mind off of something that's going on, a personal issue or something. If I could play at least one song for that veteran to help him cope for just that 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever the song is, then I feel it's an honor because I mean, they deserve it. And just like what's going on now, with overseas in Pakistan and all that stuff. I mean,
Right.
it's crazy. But so, like I said, it's an honor to work here, and you're stuck with me, buddy.
Hey, I think you're doing great. I think you're doing great, Bobby. I think that with you're gonna do huge things. Bobby B is still the first intern to come up with his business card, digital business card. So you should probably get an award for that. Just throwing that out.
All right. I appreciate
Hype.
it. All right, Joel. I appreciate you like letting me interview you and coming on my show. Someday you'll have to have me on yours.
Oh yeah. But you need to come here.
Well, okay, you have to come here. We'll go to a Browns game, and then when I come there, we'll go to one of your games.
There you go. There you go. I don't know if we play the Browns this year or not.
I don't believe so. No,
No.
no. But I don't know. We'll have to get together. I do definitely want to come down to meet everybody, though.
Yeah.
And I know J Moon. Shout out to J Moon. She was talking about getting a meet and greet together where everybody that is remotely, in a different state or whatnot, has different shows elsewhere, all get together in Colorado and just do a meet and greet and have a good time for a weekend or a week or something.
Right.
So, but anyways, I will let you go. I appreciate everything you do, Joel. And like I said, honestly, and I'm not trying to kiss up just because, I'm on your show but I honestly look up to you, man. Your story is incredible. And I mean, it's an honor to work here, bud. And until next time, this was the Firehouse Country Show with your DJ Bobby B and special guest H Train, Mr. Joel Hunt. And everybody have a great rest of your weekend.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.